In this video, we're going to talk about the 10 commandments to writing a medicine personal statement. No fluff, no nonsense, let's just dive straight in. So these are in no particular order, but I've left the most important ones for points 5, 9, and 10. So number 1 is to make sure that your statement demonstrates value. As we said in a previous video here, where we talk about the aims and the sole purpose of the personal statement, which is to get you invited to interview and guide how the interview is going to go. The whole thing is there to convince someone that you are the kind of person that would make a good doctor. So make sure you watch that video where I talk about motivation, exploration, and suitability as your main aims that you should have in the forefront of your mind when you're writing your statement. Number 2 is make sure that every single sentence is adding something to the personal statement. You want to make sure that you're not wasting words. So whatever you write, whether that be a reflection or an experience, just make sure that you're not using empty sentences. And also, one of the advanced moves is if you can write your sentences in a way that leaves a little bit of bait for them to ask you an interview and then go on to a subject that you want to talk about. That can really set the tone for the interview and already kind of pre-orchestrate it to go the way that you want it to. Number 3 is to remember the importance of reflection. Usually when it comes to writing the personal statement, I tell people that it's not so much about what you did, but actually what you got out of it. So writing a reflection is really, really important. You can put two people who got the same experience and were there doing the exact same thing, and one person can get so much more out of it than the other just by the way that they see it, the things that they inferred from it, and the lessons that they applied to their own life that's going to contribute to them being a good doctor. This is why for the people who are on my elite coaching program, I always say to watch all the work experience lessons that we have before you go ahead and write your personal statement or even go on your work experience itself, because it opens your eyes to what kind of things you want to be getting out of it, the lessons you want to be learning, and the traits that you want to be seeing in other people. And that primes your brain to be more observant and to see things that other people might not notice as easily. So make sure that you're reflecting and don't just list experiences, which brings us nicely onto point number 4. Commandment number 4 is to use the claim and corroborate. So what you want to do is make a statement about something that's important, show then how you either observed that or learned that lesson, and then talk about how you have kind of carried that forward and developed it in your own personal life. So you might say something like, for example, teamwork is a crucial factor in the success of the multidisciplinary team. I observed this when I was on my hospital placement and I saw a crash call in which lots of different members from the team helped to perform CPR to bring a patient back to life. I developed those team working skills when I played football in a team and blah, 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 XYZ. So as we see, we claim, we corroborate with an experience, and then we always reflect by linking it back to how we've developed that trait or how it's going to help us in our life as a doctor. And we actually go into this in a lot more depth in my online personal statement course, which you can check out in the description below. And I'm actually running an offer now that if you've seen this video and purchased the course, I will throw in a free personal statement review for you if you email me with it once you finish the course. Number 5 is you want to think about and include the key skills and attributes that make a good doctor. These are listed on the GMC website, or if you want to be very clever, you go to the university website of the ones that you're applying to, and they will literally list the things that they want to see in their candidates. And any experience that you've had will probably elicit at least a few of those traits. So what you can do is kind of orientate your personal statement around the traits that you want to demonstrate, and then just pick and select the ones that you think you could link to that trait from your pool of experiences. Commandment number 6 is thou shalt keep thy introduction as short as possible. You want no more than 3 sentences, and you want just a quick segue to start with why you want to study medicine and then transition into the meat of all the experience, like I say, your exploration and your suitability as quickly as you can. Number 7 is that the closing lines and paragraphs should simply be a high-level summary of all the things you've talked about previously in the statement. Here, just like the conclusion of an essay, you don't introduce any new ideas, you just make a succinct summary of your exploration and your motivation and wrap it up there. Number 8 relates to both the opening line and the closing line, and that is don't make your why for medicine too shallow. There are usually only a small number of reasons why people choose medicine, which we talk about in the personal statement course, but really that is not enough. Your why needs to start with an opening sentence and then go on to develop how you explored it and kind of how that initial spark led to the series of sequences that led you to where you are today, which is wanting to pursue a career in medicine. Number 9 is thou shalt not write cringy language. Style is probably the most important thing of how you write the entire personal statement. Not only will your writing style impact this moment of your life, but it will carry forward as one of those force multiplier skills that people talk about. These are one of those skills in life that kind of just permeate into everything else in your life. And if you can do that well, they say speaking, writing, being able to learn quickly, they say even coding. These are the force multiplier skills that will essentially make you a great all-rounder and skilled to be able to do well in kind of whatever discipline you go on to pursue. So I do talk about style in that last video that I made, where I talk about the particular book that the first 20 pages will completely transform the way that you see your writing style. It's kind of one of those eye-opening moments that almost instantly impacts the way that you write. And since putting out that video where I talk about the book, I've had a couple of my students reach out to me and say just how immediately it impacted the way that they write their personal statement and massively increased the quality. So the remedy to writing cringy language is partly to check out that book that I've put in the description below, and the other part is commandment number 10. Commandment number 10 is to read your personal statement out loud. You can either do that to yourself or ask someone else to read it to you, but when I get sent personal statements to review, when I go through them, and sometimes I'll do it via a video format where I read it out loud to them and then kind of talk them through my thinking. And in those videos, just by reading it aloud, people can hear just how ridiculous some of the sentences sound. So stylistically, reading it out loud is going to help you know when you've got sentences that are too long, points that get missed and lost at the end of the sentence, various other things that are going to make it sound a lot cringier than you want it to. People sometimes have a writer's blindness. They write and think it sounds a certain way, but it takes somebody to kind of give them a mirror to reflect back to how it looks, to make them see that it kind of is a bit cringy or it's just not as well written as they might think, because they understand in their head what they're trying to get across, but maybe they don't see the way that somebody with fresh eyes is seeing it. So if you want a step-by-step guide for how to write a truly outstanding personal statement, check out this video here. And if you buy my online course and email me after saying that you've completed it and quoting this video, I'll throw in a free personal statement review directly from me.